What up, everybody? Welcome, I guess, back to Profit Picks. It's been so long since I've done this morning show, but it's a great time to do it. We still have the Sweet 16 going, and we got a good friend, Mr. Veno, here to help us out. We did this last year. It was very fun to do it. Feel like we talked out some good stuff, and hopefully we can do it again here. How you doing today, Veno?
We're good, Skee. Busy time of year, but that 64, 68, it turns into 16 real quick. I was out there in Las Vegas last week, got to catch up with you guys a little bit, and boy, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday were nuts in those sports books. But here, we're down to 8 games the next 2 days, and then 4 Saturday, Sunday. So college basketball season winding down, but some good games on tap. We'll get to all of them that are being played today in this show.
Yeah, we'll talk about them. And my bad, you guys, for starting so late. You probably will see me as we do this show. I'm sweating. If you watch the free play video, I'm sweating the tennis. So if you see me looking off to the side, just know that's it. All right, 4 games. We'll talk about in rotation order. First up, BYU and Alabama. Um, Opened up Alabama -3.5. Moved to pretty much 5 everywhere. There are some 4.5s out there, and total continues, just shot up from 171.5. Looks like as high as 176. So, I mean, it makes sense to me, Rob. When I see an Alabama team or Alabama game, I think of it to be higher pace, higher scoring. Um, and I also have a hard time betting against Sears and Nelson. Like I just really respect both of those guys. So I think I would prefer Alabama. Is there any way for you to talk me off?
I won't talk you off. I'll tell you that I went the other way and looked toward the total. I'm just so scared of the Alabama defense. Seen enough of that this year to where they're kind of like the team that doesn't mind if you score. Right? I mean, they'll allow you to score as long as you give them pace. And I think what we saw last game really determines the play that I made on over here. They played St. Mary's last game, who, if anybody, and I think you and I talked about this, Skee, when I was out there, if anybody's going to slow them down, it would be St. Mary's. Maybe frustrate that offense, and it didn't happen. 80 points by Alabama in that game, pretty much got what they wanted, and St. Mary's couldn't keep up. So for me, it's pretty self-explanatory here. BYU doesn't mind that pace. BYU's been tremendous offensively. Every defense that they've faced, their last 11 games, that wasn't Houston, they've averaged 85 points per game against. They can score. And they've ripped through some really, really good defenses along the way. Remember, they play in the Big 12. So I think they can score. I think Bama will score. I don't think either team shies away. When you're playing these totals, especially in this price range, you want a ton of opportunity. Let me go back to this, Skee. I'll give you this because we love to refer to this. Alabama and St. Mary's, a game that had 324 potential points. It was the 7th highest of all 16 games played Saturday, Sunday last weekend. When you can get St. Mary's into a 70 possession game where there's 324 available points, that's saying something. I think, again, BYU's not afraid of it. Alabama shot 52% against St. Mary's, can probably shoot 50% here against BYU. So for me, over 175.5 was the way to go. I think it's good up to about 177.5, and then you probably have to back off a little bit. And if the game is close, the way the line indicates, and we get free throws at the end, then we can pile up some points there. Both teams pretty good on the free throw line. So for me, it was over 175.5, and just let's go up and down and let's score.
That makes sense to me. Defense may be a little bit optional for Alabama, so just trust both teams to put up some points in that one. I'm curious if you feel that way about Arizona and Duke. I mean, the market pushing it up from 152. I see 155.5 out there. So I mean, every time I look at this game, I feel like I see a higher number. Sidewise, hasn't really moved. So Duke, I've seen them blow out. I mean, it's been blowouts whenever Cooper Flag is playing, I feel like. So to know that and to see this line not move is interesting to me. For majority of the year, I haven't thought Arizona is good, but they started playing well at the right time. Do you think Arizona can play good enough to keep this one in single digits? Um, do you agree with this total going up?
Well, I'll say a couple of things. First thing I'll agree with you on, I have the same kind of thought that all year long, I didn't think Arizona was as good as they've been in the past. They just don't look like that same Arizona team. Aside from Caleb Love, um, offensive firepower is inconsistent to say the least. Now, they did play better at the end of the season, and they did take Houston to the wire in the Big 12 championship game. But we got to remember that Houston rested their starting center, Juwan Roberts, in that game, and Arizona still lost by 8. And here you have a number of 9.5. So I don't know that I trust Arizona offensively. One other game inside the game, Skee, is the fact that Duke knows Caleb Love really well from his North Carolina days. What Caleb Love doesn't know is this new Duke personnel that's been so good defensively. I mean, their metrics, and again, they played in the ACC. I get it, but they just blew people out all year long. Like you're saying, whenever Cooper Flagg was available, and even when he wasn't in the ACC tournament, right, they still won games without him. There's a chance that Brown comes back tonight. Marquise Brown, top defender, one of the top defenders for Duke, which would help. I don't know that I could agree with the total because I don't trust Arizona to do their part. On another note, Duke first half overs have been a real thing. I played it Sunday in their game, and they played Baylor, and that game went well above the first half total. Now, that number was only 67.5. Tonight, we're staring at 73. So I went back and looked. Let's see how many times Duke has gone over 73 first half. And they
What a rally, Rob Veno. What a
I knew something was going on there. Duke, first halves, 10 games. Let's go back their last 12. 2 of them were played without Cooper Flagg. I threw those out. The 10 games with him, they've gone over 73 points in the first half 7 times, 70%. So it might still be worth a look. Again, I'm a little afraid of Arizona doing their share on the scoreboard. And I also think that, if Duke comes out fired up here, it could be a first half play on Duke. They're 5.5 first half. They're playing in New Jersey, which for years and years and years, for those who go back far enough, the Meadowlands had been like a home away from Durham for Duke. Just go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey and win and cover and win and cover. So they'll travel real well in this game. How many Wildcat fans will be there, I'm not sure. I'd venture to say it's going to be a Duke home crowd. I kind of lean Duke here, Skee. Mainly, I think more than anything first half, but I wouldn't be mad at anybody playing full game. Caleb Love has the potential to either be red hot or ice cold. We know that. If ice cold happens, they're really in trouble. I just think they're the better team here. I think Arizona's time runs out. They played 2 teams in this tournament that don't play any defense. They played Oregon, and in the first game, when they had that blowout, I'm trying to go back in my notes here, they played Akron out of the MAC, who's just an offensive machine and no defense. So they run into one here. I think Duke's probably the right side.
So I heard you say you think Arizona, you don't really trust them to put up their points on the scoreboard. That's what you're saying here.
Yeah.
So you would agree with me then? Under.
I think so.
Like that,
if I had
I
my
may
choice.
not have said it, but I'm following queries and just thinking that the Duke defense, I don't know. I just feel like matchup wise, what I was looking at last night was pretty good. So I'll pull up a couple of things real quick. I just want to share with the people what I'm looking at here. I just did something wrong. Something. Can you see this?
It's coming. There it is.
So it's 2, or my bad. It's tournament favorites that have covered back-to-back games by double digits, I believe is what I'm looking at here. So it says 18, 8, and 2 to the under. 69.2%. And then there was another one I'm looking at. Maybe I won't type it in here, or yeah, I won't type it in here, but I'll just read it off from what I was looking at. It says it's the other side. It says Sweet 16 big dogs, so dogs of more than 7. After being favorites in the previous 2 rounds, they're 7-0 to the under. It says
Mhm.
so. Those two queries made me want to get there to an under. The market disagrees, but you saying think Arizona might be held down tonight makes me want to trust it again.
I could see it. I could see it. Arizona might not. In my mind, maybe they get to 72 as their ceiling, and if they get to 72 as their ceiling, you need 84 on the other side to beat that total at 155. So I don't know. I think under's the right way here.
All right. Next game we have Maryland and Florida. Florida open -5. They now look like -6 or 6.5. As far as the total, not much movement. Open 155 looks like 150. I mean, as high as 157. And Maryland, won off that last second controversial. Some people think it's a travel. Some people think it's not. Game winner. And Florida, man, I feel like Florida almost got lucky to win that last game. They did not play the greatest game to their standards. So I'll say that to say I think they can play a lot better. I think they're the better team. And I think all year long they've been a really good first half team. I would continue to think they'll throw the first punch in this game. I'm leaning towards Florida first half, or yeah, probably just Florida first half. What do you think in this one, Vino?
Yeah, my initial lean, like 2, 3 days ago, was really strong Florida. I was going to make it my best bet tonight. And of course, sometimes you do too much research, you dig too far, and you start to talk yourself off of stuff. Um, I feel a couple of ways about this game in favor of Florida. First of all, there's no excuse for Maryland when you're touting these big men, Julian Reese and Derek Queen, all season long, and they're good players. Don't get me wrong. But you go out against Colorado State and get out rebounded by 10. Colorado State doesn't have a player over 6'8", and these two guys are getting crushed on the boards by Colorado State. So I don't like that about Maryland, especially against Florida, which is an absolute rebounding monster. I don't like that situation. And I don't like what I'm seeing out of their three-point shooters. Jacoby Gillespie, Belmont transfer, been terrible first 2 games shooting threes. The only guy that's really shot him well is Miguel. Rodney Rice has been bad shooting threes. And if Maryland's not going to shoot threes here and make them ski, I don't know that their bigs on the boards are going to get enough second chances for them to stay. I shouldn't say stay in the game because, of course, they'll be in the game. But to cover 6 points, Florida missed a boatload of free throws against UConn. They're a way better free throw shooting team than that. I think Alex Condon, the center, was the biggest culprit in that game, and he's not a good free throw shooter, but all their guards, like 4 guys that shoot 80% on that team. So got to get the right guys to the line. I trust Florida a little bit more. The venue in San Francisco, who knows? They're playing in the Warriors Arena this particular set of games. And it is something, there's something to be said for transitioning to a new arena after playing the first 2 games somewhere else. But Maryland, their sightlines didn't get any better in that second game. And maybe I'm a little bitter because I'm a guy who had Maryland team total over 75.5, and they went 9 straight possessions from the 6-minute mark to like the 2.5 without making a basket. And again, it's the same guys. It was Gillespie, it was Rice, it was terrible. Even the interior didn't score. So for me, Maryland's got to be able to rebound. I'm not so sure they can against this Florida team. And Maryland's got to be able to make threes, and they're not showing us they can at this point in time. I would trust Florida, and I would say this also, that Connecticut, at the time of that game the other day, was probably in a 6-game stretch of their best basketball of the season. And so UConn hadn't played good all season long, played really well in that game, showed a lot of heart. I don't know that Maryland's the same here. 5 guys only on Maryland. They really don't play any more than 5. If any of them gets into foul trouble, it's trouble. So to me, I'm still leaning Florida, probably just not as strong as I was earlier this week.
Yeah, you saying that makes me think the full game is better. Um, I mean, Florida could very well blow them out. I think this is one I'll think about a little bit more. But definitely something on the Florida side. Maybe if you have props, Clayton Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
baller. Look at his threes or points or something. All right. Last game for today. Arkansas and Texas Tech. Opened up Texas Tech -5.5. Hasn't really moved. Total uh total hasn't really moved either. 147. I'm gonna be honest, out of the 4 games, I think this is the one I have the least opinion on. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, Texas Tech is a team I haven't watched enough. I watched them a couple times, but that's the team that has the 2 really strong guards, right?
They do. One of them's
Yeah.
out, but may play
Oh, he's
tonight. We
out.
don't know yet. We don't know yet if McMillan plays or not. He didn't play in the last 2 games, so we
Okay.
just don't know. Coach says he'll play. Player says he wants to play. It's an oblique injury, which is tough. So we'll see. But that's their best 3-point shooter for sure. They've got other guards, but he's their best 3-point shooter.
So how are you viewing this one? I guess I'll lean more on you. I think from what I saw from Texas Tech, they're really good. Like their guards can take over the game if they're both in. Um, can Arkansas do enough to keep it close, if not win?
Yeah, this is the toughest game, Skee, because I'm just about to pull the trigger on Arkansas plus points, but we're just not sure how these injuries are going to go, and they're key to both sides. Adu Thero on the Arkansas side, their leading scorer and best big man. He hasn't played a bunch lately. He's been hurt. He practiced, today is Thursday, so he practiced Tuesday, and then there was too much pain for him to practice on Wednesday. So after John Calipari said, "Oh yeah, he's ready to go," he had to walk that back and say, "Well, we'll see at game time." And it's the same with McMillan. Coach walks to the podium, says McMillan's ready to go. McMillan kind of says, "I want to go." You just don't know with these two guys, and they're such big difference makers. If both are out, I lean Arkansas. If Thero's in, McMillan's out for Texas Tech, I lean Arkansas. If McMillan's in and Thero's out, you got to look at Tech. Going to give you a few reasons why here really quick. First of all, Arkansas is not going to run into a better defense than what they ran into with St. John's the other day. And it's really not that often that you see St. John's intimidated at the rim. But when you miss 17 layups, not all of them because they were cautious or because they were a little bit nervous of the length of Arkansas, but 17 layups is a lot of layups to miss for a team that can't shoot threes. Arkansas didn't shoot threes. They haven't shot threes the whole tournament because they can't really shoot them. But they've got really good guard play. They can penetrate. And I'm going to say this about Texas Tech really quick. They go 2 of 14 against Drake the other day from 3 and still win the game, scoring 77 points in a game where, Drake likes to crawl, right? They want to play that quicksand game like St. Mary's against Bama the other day. And Texas Tech still came through with 77. But we just talked about McMillan, and I'll give you their 2 next best 3-point shooters, Elijah Hawkins and Christian Anderson. These guys go 4 for 20 against UNC Wilmington in their first game, and then 1 for 8. So that's 5 of 28 from 3. The best player on that team is JT Toppin inside. And if he doesn't have any help, Skee, in the game of basketball, if you can't get any interior help, any perimeter help, then that interior closes up real quick. People lay off those 3-point shooters, and Toppin won't have any success against that Arkansas length. So for me, it's really a tough game. I still think Arkansas plus 5.5 might be a really good side here. But I would worry if McMillan plays the Tech best 3-point shooter and then Thero doesn't play for Arkansas. I guess you could say, Rob, what do they really bring to the table? They haven't played in a few games. Are they going to be rusty or not? That's possible too. I think just looking at it straightforward, if neither plays, I like Arkansas plus 5.5. I think Tech can win, but man, I don't know if they're good enough or if they match up well enough. I guess I should say it that way. If they match up well enough to beat Arkansas by 6 points. So for me right now, it's Arkansas plus.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, this game is very, very tough. All right, that's the Sweet 16 for today. You cool to come back again tomorrow, right, Vino?
I am.
All right, cool. So we'll touch the Friday games tomorrow. Um, we'll move it on over to best bet. And before we give a best bet, I do want to ask you, Ravino, if there's anything you would like to promote, and yeah, any of that good stuff.
I would say this right now. What's going really, really well, Skee, is the NBA once again. Great for a while, a little bit of a rut. Really good lately. 6-1-1 last 8 plays. Another winner last night. So I would say that you can go over to Wagertalk.com if you're interested in that stuff. Selection packages, you can get that over there. An NBA package, I think, run $79 for a week. I think is what they're giving me for a special right now. That's available. It is Major League Baseball opening day. I know there's specials going on over at wagertalk.com for baseball. If you're interested in the first week of baseball, please check that out. You can get bargain price over there for MLB. I do happen to have, I don't know if you do, Skee, but I did put a baseball play up today. I know we've talked a little bit about the grind of baseball. I found myself finding one that I liked. All my other work over there at wagertalk.com. As for best bet, I'll say this. The first thing I bet was the Alabama BYU over. I got a better price than what you're going to get now. I got 175. You'll probably get 176 as of right now. But again, I said earlier, I think it's good up to 177.5. So I would leave that as a best bet recommendation. Alabama BYU up and over your price tag currently, I think, which is 176. If you can find the 175.5s out there, certainly there's plenty of shops around that you can find one. Go ahead and play that. But that would be the best bet for me for today.
All right, good stuff on that. And man, Rob, there's something that stood out to me. Nice winner right there from Minsick. Something that stood out to me. How the hell is Kikuchi an ace? What the hell is going on? I should probably run to the window and go bet that team total under for the Angels, right? If he's their ace, they got no fucking chance. That's how I feel. That's the first thing that stood out to me. So
not a fan.
I don't like to jump into baseball like the first day or this early, but damn, they're fucking tempting me with Kikuchi out there on the mound today. So I lean towards, I guess, his strikeouts under. I lean towards White Sox. I mean, White Sox pretty good versus lefties, right? So lean White Sox first 5. Man, I might get there. I might just have to. You know, this has been. Before I even got on Wager Talk, I was fading Kikuchi. Mm-hmm. So this is like an automatic thing for me. But yeah, I don't really like to get involved with baseball. Best bet for me, I will go with Arizona and Duke under. Best number I see right now is 155.5. I'll trust the queries. I'll trust what Rob Veno said about, he doesn't think Arizona can keep up offensively. Yeah, that's what I'm going to trust for college for myself. And if you guys want some more plays, I have actually 4 free plays on my page at Wager Talk, in addition to, whatever packages I have, 1 for tomorrow in college and 3 NBA plays for tonight. So if you want more free plays, check out my profile, wagertalk.com. And my best bet again is Arizona Duke under 155.5 for the show. Vino, appreciate you taking the time to come talk these games out with me. I'll be with you again tomorrow. Good luck on your action tonight. I'll see you then.
Good deal, buddy.